All right, so now that we've gone over different ways of making shapes, and on one slight note, you'll notice if I grab this, certain things fall apart. So if I want to keep them all together, I'm just going to grab all of them because they're all separate shapes, even though they look like they're just one illustration. So I'm going to select all of them, press Control G to group, and now you'll see I can just group and change the shape of this little guy anywhere I want. But now let's get into text now that we've gotten our shapes. So I can either go to my text tool, and you see there's a bunch of different ways we can do text, or I can press the letter T. Now when I go in and I just click, it drops in Laura Ipsum, which is default body copy for text. So let's just say we're going to go in and our logo has graphics as as part of the name. So I can change the size if you look over in the character. If you don't see your character window, depending on your configuration, you can always go and pop up the character menu or the paragraph menu just by going into here. But right now with our layout, when I have this selected, it's here. So if I click away, you could see I have different fonts. Obviously, this is going to depend on whatever is in your scene or what is on your computer that's installed. But I'm just going to go in, and if I go to type, then you can see there's where I can go to character styles, and paragraphs, and all that kind of stuff. And I can just pull it out independently like this. Let's just stick you, and you can see I can actually take these tabs. Let's just put you right here and close this for right now. So we just have this. This is kind of neat because you can stack these. So now I've got my pathfinder, my alignment, my character, and I can start to organize this the way I want. But I can always go in if I lose something and pull it up inside of the right menu through Windows. So if I select this, it's going to give me what this guy is, and so I have both of them, and I can actually change it. So you see I actually do have both. But let's just open it up. I can change the size. I can change the font. Let me just close this up real quick. I can change the font. And you see as I go over it, it shows me what it looks like. Now, for your logos and for your designs, I would like you to try and keep it simple. If we're going into After Effects and we're going to do some stuff in there for your first assignment of working, try not to get anything too crazy graphic. Try to keep it simple, but appropriate for what it's supposed to be. So let's say we're just going to pick something that's a little bit more common. We'll just use that. And let's go up and let's look at something that's not going to go totally crazy. And let's choose let's choose Gil Sans MT. Now, one note, if you're not familiar, if you've not taken graphic design, there's fonts that are serifs and sans serifs. And what does that mean? This is a sans serif font. Okay, so the difference is serif versus sans serif is that it's the handles that are on them. So if we look here, and you can see sans serifs have no handles on these little parts. Serifs do. That's what the little fancy little handles and little things popping out are. Typically, sans serif, meaning no serif, no handles, are far easier to read. So if you're trying to get something that's very easy to read, very recognizable, kids have to acknowledge it, it has to be easily, if just at a glance seen, you want sans serif. Serif is where you're going more fancy. So if you're doing something a lot more fancy, then you would do something for serif. It's supposed to be eloquent. It's supposed to, show money and all that kind of stuff. But you really remember the most important thing is not how cool or, crazy the font is. It's that it fits to what you're trying to show and that it is legible. It doesn't matter how cool it is if people can't read it. So we're choosing a sans serif. But let me show you some of the things I can do before I start messing with the text. So if I go in here, and you see my character stuff, and I click here, I have more options that I can choose. And that was just clicking on these three little dotted lines. I can make it all caps. So you always want to type it in upper and lowercase because I can always change it through here. And then I don't have to retype it over and over again. So I could make it all caps, which is nice. I could make it small caps, which means it turns the lowercase into small capital letters. That looks nice too. Don't worry about underlining it right now. We'll do that later, or you'll do it with a shape. Like a rectangular shape. So don't worry about that for what we're going to be doing, or we'll just do it in After Effects. But I can change the size, but this is the most important things I wanted you to see. There is a way of actually going in and if we go to here, how far they're spread out. But for right now, we'll just keep it at 0. We're going to keep it simple. So just as far as doing your text, that is basically the simple way of doing it. I'll center it so that wherever I put this, it's going to be centered, and it makes it easier for me to line up when I have something. So if I take both of these, you see, and then I align them, boom, now I know they're perfectly centered. If I grab this and say, no, you know what, I actually do want that all caps for balance, then I'll just make it all caps. And then I just pull it down a little bit. So it just really depends on how you're setting it up. Now, suppose I want my text a little bit more elaborate. So I make a shape. And if you notice, remember you have all these different ways that you can do stuff, but I can put text on a path. So let's say I did text on a path. I click on this shape that I made, and then it puts the text on the path, the curve of this circle. So then I could type in what I want. Let's say Los Medanos. Or actually, let's do it this way, since we're doing with the graphics thing. Let's say there you go, graphics. Now, so I've got this on here. I can, while it's on that curve, I can drop it down, but you notice I changed it. It only changed what would come afterwards. So I'm going to double click or click away and then click on it and now drop it like so. Now you'll notice it's at the bottom. So I could do a few different things. If I take my selection tool, I go to the corner, I can rotate this. And if I hold down Shift while I'm doing it, perfect 180. If I want to adjust this, I can also grab right here. Check this out. Grab that little handle. I could put it on the inside, put it on the outside, depending on where I place it. So if I want to make any adjustments to that, see? Bam, just like that. And then all I'd have to do now is, oh yeah, I put my logo here, select both of these, and then make sure that they're aligned that way. And then I just want to move this guy. Bam, you notice it snapped when I moved it, and now it goes around this. And then this could be whatever logo that I wanted. Now you notice, here's an important one. This is behind. I want it on top. So, oh no, what do I do? I can right click, arrange, and bring to front. And now I can just scale this guy down, hold down shift, and booyah, right there. We'll talk more about text when we're converting to outlines and doing stuff like that for the logo, but that's essentially how we start to work with text. So try it out and see what you can do. Oh, one other thing I almost forgot. If you want to get really fancy schmancy, let's combine a few things. So I'm going to go back to my pen tool. And if I just, oops, you know what? Let's draw something like this. We're going to swap that. So here's my curve. I press A to switch tools. So now I'm on this tool, or V, and I have a curve here. If I use the pen type on a path tool now and click on this, check it out. There it is. And now it's going to flow with it. And when I actually click to the directional tool, check it out, I can move it along that path to wherever I want it. So you can do some pretty interesting things. Try it out.